Welcome to FLL Tournament Basics presented by Husky Robotics. A first LEGO League tournament is an awesome event where your team can celebrate all the things they learned and accomplished throughout your season. It is also an opportunity to share in the collective learning of all the other teams at the tournament. First LEGO League tournaments are staffed by volunteers who could be teachers, engineers, students, or other community members who contribute their time on behalf of the kids. Coaches should talk to their teams to make sure they appreciate the judges and the other volunteers, and that they understand that the judges and volunteers are there to help. Tournaments are all about the kids. It's the kids, not the coaches or the parents, who should approach judges or other volunteers with questions or concerns on behalf of the team. Coaches and parents should be seen and not heard, except to cheer on their team, and should never interrupt a judging session. At the tournament, each team will have a pit area that will be the team's home base. You can use this space to display project or robot information, or to work on your robot. Encourage your team members to visit the other team's pits and ask about their projects and robot designs. A tournament consists of 3 judging sessions: project, robot design, and core values. Teams also get 4 table runs. For qualifying tournaments, these events will be dispersed throughout the day. You will receive your schedule from the tournament coordinator either a few days before the tournament or at check-in on the day of the tournament. You should review your schedule thoroughly and make note of gaps between events so that you can best manage staging your team for each event. First, let's talk about project. The project judging session consists of a 5-minute presentation followed by 5 minutes of questions by the judges. You need to be aware that the 5 minutes of presentation includes setup. You need to provide all your own materials, including tables, chairs, and technology. In addition, all setup should be done by the team with the possible exception of an adult helping with a prop that is particularly heavy or bulky. For these reasons, you want to be careful of elaborate setups. Make sure to bring an extension cord if anything needs to be plugged in. To prepare your team for the project, you should have your presentation finished a couple of weeks before your tournament so that you can practice. You should practice everything, including setup. It is also helpful to have outsiders like parents or older siblings watch the presentation and ask questions. This gets the students prepared to answer questions and allows you to make adjustments based on feedback from someone who hasn't been knee-deep in the project. Next up is robot design. The robot judging session consists of a complete table run with questions from the judges both during and after the table run. The table run is not timed or scored. To prepare, your team should practice describing the robot run as it is happening, including pointing out the interesting programming and mechanical features such as the use of sensors and innovative attachments. You should also have printouts of your programs to show the judges. The team should also practice answering questions about robot design, programming, and strategy, and should know how many points you have programmed and your top score from either a timed practice round or an actual match. One thing to note, you may see a Robot Design Executive Summary, or RDES, referred to in materials from FIRST. Illinois does not use the RDES, however you might want to use the RDES as a framework to help your team prepare for the presentation. Values. Core values judging sessions consist of the judges observing the students perform a teamwork activity lasting approximately 5 minutes, followed by 5 minutes of questions by the judges. To prepare your team, you should practice a variety of teamwork activities throughout the season. You should also talk to your team about how they function as a team, including topics like problem solving, decision making, organization, and how they divide up work and set priorities. Your students should understand what the core values are and what cooperation and gracious professionalism mean, and be able to give examples. It is usually clear to judges when answers have been memorized. You should encourage your kids to give specific examples rather than making general statements. You should also encourage your team to be themselves so their team spirit can shine through. One thing to note, you may see a core values poster referred to in some of the materials from FIRST. Illinois does not use the core values poster. However, you may use the criteria for the poster as a framework to help prepare your team for this session. Next up, we'll talk about table runs. There are generally 4, and they are interspersed between judging sessions. Table runs are 2 minutes and 30 seconds, with a couple of minutes to get set up before the start. There's a small table near base for teams to stage their robot and attachments. Only 2 team members are allowed to run the robot at one time. However, team members may tag in and out during a run. The referees will have a designated area for team members to stand while waiting to tag in. To prepare for table runs, you should practice full runs during the last week or 2 before your tournament, even if your programming is not yet complete. Encourage team members to be consistent in what they are responsible for regarding setup and transitions from one mission to the next. All team members should know the field setup for the start of a round and should be checking the field each time they come to the table. Problems should be respectfully pointed out to the referee. When the match is complete, the referee will go over the scoring with the team members at the table. Any questions or problems should be respectfully brought up at that time. Once the referee finalizes the score, a team member will be asked to sign off. Team members should know the rules in scoring situations. Coaches should not be involved with this process. Also, there is no instant replay in first. Referees' decisions are final. Before leaving the table area, team members should make sure they have all robot parts and attachments and that they are not taking away any mission model parts. It helps to have a bin to carry the robot and attachments while going from event to event, and an inventory list for the bin so members can make sure they have everything. Next, let's talk about what to bring. You should bring a bin for carrying your robot, storage bin or garbage bag for storing team items, anything you need for your project presentation, copies of your programs for the robot design judges, a laptop for working on programming, spare parts kit just in case something goes wrong or you get a bright idea at the tournament, an extension cord and power strip because often these things are very limited, battery chargers or extra batteries for your robot, programming cable, and finally printouts of the tournament information and your team's schedules. If you're like most coaches, you'll never feel completely ready for your first tournament or your second or even your 10th. But we hope we have at least made you a little more prepared. Anytime you're having trouble, all you need to do is ask for help on any of the many FLL blogs, Facebook groups, or the First Illinois Robotics Yahoo group. We all like to help, because in First, gracious professionalism abounds. Please stay tuned for more FLL Basics videos from Husky Robotics.